Hey guys, Barry here with Epic. Welcome to another episode of Epic Shop 101. In today's video, being filmed here by popular request, we heard you out and we're doing it. We will show you how to effectively change and replace your tires on the Nami Klima. For today's video, we will actually be replacing the stock CST tires with a very popular brand. You guys might have heard of them, PMT, high performance racing tires. So to do this, you can see here on my bench, these are all the tools that will be required. You'll want some sort of stand to elevate your scooter up so you have easy access to your tires. You're gonna need a vise is gonna be very helpful for this when getting the tires both off and on, and as well as we got some Allen keys here. Okay, T5 Torx bit that we can use with a drill, impact gun, or if you have just the Allen key version, that's fine too. We got some heavy duty tire levers that are very helpful. The small ones don't usually work. These are more like motorcycle tire levers that are very helpful, and some cutters. So to start off, we will use the cutters first. I'm just gonna free the slack on the motor cable. So we're gonna cut this tie wrap here. All right, one more. Okay, now we've loosened this wire. So we're gonna be able to get some slack and unplug the motor connector cable. Simply twist this here and pull out. Okay, so now we've got our motor loose from the cable, from the connection. All right, so step number 2, we're gonna continue removing this cable. Now you're gonna notice on the inside, this cable is actually secured by a plate cover. It's in here, I don't know if the camera can see that, but to do this, we're gonna use our 4mm Allen key to remove this over here. And I'm holding the plate cover on the other side with my finger just so it doesn't fall and we lose it. I think that's enough. I do that by hand now. Okay, got this out. And let's see if we give it a little push. So here's the plate that I was talking about that's holding this cable tightly in place here so it doesn't interfere. Okay, so now that that's out, we can remove this cable. Okay, so step number 3, we're going to remove the axle nut cover so we have access to the axle nuts, because we're going to remove that next. So with the same 4mm Allen key, we can simply do that. All right, here's one. Let's keep these together. Lose it and move over to the other side. Oops, I think I mixed that up. Okay. Almost. All right, that's the second one. And then we're going to use a 21mm socket to remove this nut. Okay, one out. Second nuts. Now you can see your motor starting to move, so it's starting to free up. Okay, step number 4, we're going to remove the brake caliper. We're going to be using the 5mm Allen key. All right, that's done. Now we're gonna release the motor wheel. There's washers here you can see with things inside, notches. We're gonna take this out. It should fall out of place. We're gonna do the same on the other side. Might use a tool here to help a little bit. Oops, got it. Now that's removed. And now we can pull the cable out slightly to give more slack. Okay, so next we're going to want to remove the air from the tire. So remove the dust cap, and you're going to want to use a tool. You can use a tool here to push down this little button here, or we have our own tool here as well that we can remove the air. So I'm actually going to take this pin all the way out. Okay. Okay. There we go. So now our tire is fully deflated. We're going to remove the disc brake now so that we can use it in the vise without damaging it. So here we're going to be using T25, Torx 25 tool. I'll switch it, make it quicker on our impact gun. All right, so the disc is removed. Remove this tire, this tubeless tire off from the motor wheel. So to do this, you're going to make sure that the bend of your tire lever is pointing up. We're going to try to catch it. Once you get one side, you start using the second one to bend up. Okay. Because I'm having a little tough time. This is one of the hard parts, and a harder part will be even putting it back on. But I'm going to use a little bit of soap and water for a little bit of assistance for getting these tire levers in. Okay, and moreover, I'm going to introduce a third tire lever here. So as you can see, there we go. Okay. There we go. Now we got the tire out, and we just leave her here to just get her out. There you go. Voila. We got the tire out. Okay. Okay, so now that we got the tire off, the CSC tire, we're going to be installing the PMT tire. Now this part's important to note that you want to make sure that you're installing the tire in the right direction. PMT actually has an indicator here with an arrow. So it means we want our tire spinning this way, direction of the arrow. And to make sure that we're putting it on properly, you want to take a look at your motor wheel and see. The easiest way to kind of tell is that the motor wire is always going to be on the right, and the disc brake with the caliper is going to be on the left. So we want to install it this way. All right. This in. Get better leverage here. Go. All right, we got it. Actually, wasn't that bad at all. So now that we got it in, it's time to reinflate the tire. Okay, so now I removed the valve pin before, so now we're gonna have to put the valve pin back into the valve. So got that in here. I'm gonna take my tool to retighten it. All right, she's in, and we're gonna put air inside. All right, so we just fast forwarded here a little bit because we noticed a problem when we tried to inflate the tubeless tire on this motor wheel. It wasn't inflating. The PMT tires tubeless does not seem to be compatible with the Nami Klima. So the 10.10x3 E Fire PMT tires not compatible with the tubeless with the Nami Klima. So what we did is we actually decided to try it with a tube, defeating the purpose of the tubeless. You lose the advantage of having a tubeless tire, obviously, by doing that. However, although it seems to have worked, we would not recommend it because it's not, as you can see, it's not seated properly, and this can cause problems. So what I'm going to do now, again, not recommend it, and I'm going to go back to the original CST stock tires for this Klima. I do want to mention though that the tires, we did try it on another motor, 10x3. We tried it on the Mantis motor, and it does work for that. So if you're looking for PMT tires, it might not be the best option on the Klima. They work fine with the Nami Burn E's, as far as we know anyways. So let's continue. We're gonna make the same steps of deflating this tire. We're gonna remove this. Okay, so I got my valve remover here. Make this fast. We're gonna remove the valve completely. There we go. No more tube. So here, as you can see, when it's sitting tubeless, there's just way too much room over here. So again, not compatible. All right, now let's get our tire levers and take this tire off. There we go. Here's the tube. All right, we're gonna, for the purpose of this video and demonstrating how to put the tire back on, we're gonna follow the same process. Take a look, make sure, again, that the arrow is pointing in the right direction. So we wanna make sure that the brake caliper side goes in first. Okay. And now we're gonna use our vise again. Let's move this closer. So that the motor cable is facing outwards. This part, as you can see, is already on the tire. Now we got to get this section of the tire seated onto the wheel. So I brought out the longer longer ones. Right, so we got it back. All right, so once we got our tire on, it's important to, you can use a rubber mallet or any type of mallet. Just you'll want to hit the tire in the middle all around. What this does is it's going to expand the edges of the rubbers to the rim so that you'll not lose air when you pump it, especially because we're tubeless here. So you want to make sure that it's seated perfectly well so we do not lose any air. All right, so I think that should be good. Now we're gonna proceed and reinflate the air inside the tire. Just grab my air hose here. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna use the rest of it with the floor pump, just so I don't over pump it, and see what kind of PSI we got here. And take a quick peek here. 50 PSI is the maximum recommended. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna finish off with the pump because we actually have a gauge here, and we're gonna get it accurately to 50 PSI. There we go, that should be good. Okay, now we're gonna proceed with reattaching the wheel and tire back on. All right, so the first step to putting the tire back on to the frame is we're gonna be adding the disc rotor. Now it's also important as well to make sure you have an arrow on the disc rotor. You want it to be facing the arrow on the tire and going the same way, obviously. So we're gonna place it in, and I'm gonna switch here back to our Torx 25 for the rotor screws. All right, now that we got that back on, we're gonna wanna add our washers. So we're gonna take these ones, the ones that do not, these washers are the ones that have the notches, will go on the outside. The ones without the notches go on the inside, so actually on the way here, so it doesn't matter which side here in this case. So just put that on. There's one. There's two. Now we can slide the wheel in. Next, we're going to put the outside washers in. So, notch in for both sides. Here's one. Here's the second. Okay, and now we're going to put our axle nuts on. Put on the 21mm socket. Okay, and where are those? Oh, here we go. Oops. Make sure this is in properly. I'm going to start off by hand first and finish it off with the socket. So next I'm going to put the axle nut covers back on. And we're going to use our number 5, I believe it was. Nope, not 5. This is number 4. Get this out of the way. So, and now we're going to want to put our brake rotors on. So make sure the Logan logo is facing you and that you get the rotor in between the brakes, obviously. Want to make sure that stops. So let's get that fitted nicely. All right. Number. Guess we're going to use a number 5 here. Front secure. Caliper. Now we're going to get the rear. All right. Got that. All right. All right. So the next step now is going to be to re-secure the motor cable wire and as well reconnect it. Okay. So now the motor cable, if you can see, if the camera can see here, it's going to be above the notch, and the bump of this plate, the smooth part, will go up against this. You can get it, and the notch sticking out. I take this bolt. Use number 4. I'm holding it on the other side, so now I got it. Okay, so this will effectively hold your motor cable in place so it does not get interfered with the tire while you're riding. And now we are gonna reconnect motor cable into our controller. Put that in, screw this on. Now we can re-zip tie this to the other cable. Just to tidy things up, I'm going to put the cable coil back on, cable cover coil. All right, that's pretty good. Now, to zip tie it back into place, I'm going to throw a couple here. Okay, so now before you finish, you're going to want to rotate your handle just to make sure the cable here is not too tight. So in this case, I'm able to go all the way, both sides, so I'm okay. All right, so that pretty much completes our demonstration video today, where we first attempted to change the CST stock tire, which is a great tire by the way, to the popular PMT 10x3 E Fire. We discovered in this video by attempting it ourselves that in fact they are not compatible with the Nami motors, at least on the tubeless side. Maybe someone wants to get creative and figure out a way, but again, it's not meant for it, so we don't recommend it. So we showed you exactly how to remove the motor wheel properly, take off the tire properly, and reseat a new tire. We did it actually, I guess, 3 times since we did it with the PMTs first, and then back with the CST tire. We didn't do the rear, but the rear more or less is going to be the same concept as was done with the front. If anybody has any questions or any requests for other videos that you want us to do, please comment below. We're going to leave everything that we've done, all the steps in the description below as well. If this video was helpful, please give us a like. We always appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more. Guys, it's been a pleasure, and wishing you an epic day or night. Peace.